This is what weapons look like. This is what they look like when the Second Amendment was passed.
You're going to get arrested in New York for having that. I'm just warning you right now.
I'll let everyone in the country. You want to own this? You could own this. You could own this. You could load it. You could do whatever you want with it. And this, what you don't want though.
And I can ride to work in a horse on a horse if you want.
Let me guess. The hell out of people.
Weapons of war tear the hell out of people. Muskets do not. And that was Geraldo Rivera during a tense debate over gun control on Fox News. There is an argument that if Geraldo is leading your argument or the pundit you have to rely on to win a debate, you are in deep trouble. Nonetheless, Geraldo was making a compelling and interesting point that more Democrats should pick up on. The Second Amendment to the Constitution, which was ratified in 1791, did not anticipate today's high-powered firearms. Indeed, the text of the Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. At the time, the framers of the Constitution were worried about the colonies' experience with British troops. The founders wanted to make sure that people who lived in the colonies could defend themselves against the British or anybody else. And part of that defense meant making sure that citizens had their own weapons, so an invading force like the British could be repelled. The theory was that it's a lot easier to assemble a militia and defeat an occupying force if people have their own firearms. Likewise, if somebody invaded your home, the founders wanted to make sure you could defend yourself. But the focus was on defense, defending your house, defending your state. And a lot of legal experts today agree with Geraldo's point that the Second Amendment was never meant to protect offensive weapons like cannons or an AR-15. Naturally, that nuance is lost on Sean Hannity.
Reality is whether it's a pistol, whether it's a rifle, America's Second Amendment is clear. The right of the people to keep and to bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, here you have
How many is too many?
Here you have the likes of Gavin Newsom.
How many is too many, said Geraldo. That's another interesting question, because in the United States, we now have more firearms than people. The U.S. population stands at 331 million. The total number of firearms in the U.S., according to the gun industry, 434 million. Of these, about half, or 214 million firearms, entered the market in just the last 30 years. Modern sporting rifles like the AR-15 have proven to be extremely popular with gun owners, and in the United States, there are now an estimated 19 million AR-15s. So there's an AR-15 for every 17 people. You may recall that the Clinton administration banned the purchase and sale of assault weapons for 10 years. During that decade, mass shootings dropped by over 40%. Then, after the assault weapons ban was allowed to lapse, mass shootings went up again. And over the past decade, an AR-15 has been the weapon of choice in America's worst mass shootings. Nonetheless, some gun fanatics like Sean Hannity believe that, well, if police and security teams have weapons, we should all have weapons.
Of Gavin Newsom, he is surrounded by armed guards. Hollywood elite are surrounded by armed guards. The people that make this country great have a right to defend themselves and their family and their property. And by people trying to take away that right from them, they are denying them the very security that they, the elite, have.
But again, the elites, the elected leaders, the celebrities, they have trained security teams protecting them. The governor of California and most Hollywood celebrities are not packing heat themselves. In any case, this debate matters because the United States is averaging more mass shooting deaths each year than all other industrialized nations combined. Something has to change. And the fact is, the death toll would be a lot less if lunatics only had access to defensive weapons like muskets instead of offensive weapons like an AR-15. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.